Hello everyone, today we have new video review and this time we will check fresh release from Eduard. As you can see, that's a 72nd scale Spitfire Mk.XVI Bubbletop and it is based on the fresh 72nd scale plastic, and now it is packed as a Profipack edition. As you can see, package here is quite typical. It's white box with this beautiful box art on the front. Then here we have 5 marking options which are included into this kit, and on the other side, of course, we have information about the kit and address of the manufacturer with QR code. That's a top opening box as usual. And here is what we have inside. So as you can see, there is plenty of space inside, so I guess all parts should arrive intact to you. And as you can see, transparent sprue is on the top, so we will start with it. Now just give me a second to open it, because as you can see it is packed into the separate plastic bag, so it won't be scratched. And here is what we have. So that's a typical circular sprue from Eduard. Here we have all transparent elements for this small Spitfire. Of course here we have canopy parts. And note that canopy parts division is similar to what we saw in 48 scale, so we have different parts for open and closed version. And also we have some parts for the different version. I mean, Bubbletop of course is this one, but then we have here these parts which I was mentioned just a second ago. And then of course target sights are in place with antenna masts and some other elements which should be placed on the aircraft. As for the masking, you shouldn't be worried because masks are included into this kit. We will see them next, so just stay tuned and I will show them. Next we have pair of plastic sprues. These are packed together, and now just give me a second to open them and we'll take a closer look. Here we have different parts for internal and external detailing, and I have to say that basic cockpit on this Spitfire kit is quite nice, but there is always possibility to get brushing set for this model. And if you would like to have better detailing, I would advise to do so, because otherwise you won't achieve the same detailing on this aircraft. So here we have the first sprue, 2 types of the dashboard as usual. Here we have different cockpit walls, 2 types of plastic external fuel tanks, then several types of the landing gear legs, several types of the exhausts. All those parts can be replicated in resin, and you can replace them with resin parts, so it will be up to you if you want to use standard plastic version or you would like to employ one of those parts and not to spend extra money on some additional upgrade. Next, second sprue is dedicated to mostly external parts, because here we have tires which should be assembled out of 2 halves. Then we have separately molded wheel rims, 1-piece propeller. Here we have cockpit walls, and note that the manufacturer placed here some pre-molded parts which should look good after careful painting, and of course they will be upgraded with PE parts because it's a Profipack, so we have some metal elements included as well. But again, I will remind you that for maximum detailing it is better to order a resin set which is really crazy detailed. Then here we have second plastic bag with 3 more plastic sprues. Now just give me another second to open it. First of all, we have here these white frames with different wing mechanization parts and external parts. For example, here we have tail wings, here we have ailerons, here we have different types of the wing edges, so we have this pointed type and also just the prolongated one. And as you can see, molding quality is quite nice. All attachment points are placed from the inner side, so you won't damage the visible part while separating this element, and that's quite a nice solution, I would say. Next we have last gray plastic sprue. This one is dedicated to fuselage halves, as you can see, and also here we can find wing parts. Parts division is quite typical, so fuselage parts are molded together with tail segment, and wing is divided into 3 parts. Nevertheless, top cowling segment should be assembled out of 2 halves, and that's quite a tricky part because you might have a visible seam there or gap, let's say, and it was problem for some modders who were assembling it. Even I encountered this problem. Here we have to assemble separate air intakes and wheel wells, as you can see. That shouldn't be a problem. And I should mention also the fitment of the wing with fuselage halves. It's absolutely nice once you assemble everything in the right way, so just take your time and don't hurry with those parts. And inside fuselage halves have position elements and also position pins for proper alignment of those two parts together. And if you don't want to waste your time with these, let's say, two parts for the top cowling segment, there is a Bracin upgrade set available, which is molded as a one-piece element. Next we have one of the typical upgrades, which is usually included into the Profipack. That's a pre-painted P fret, and that's a typical product for Eduard. So here we have some elements for the cockpit and also some external detailing elements. Of course, dashboard will be inside, while these parts will be used for the air intake, and some other parts will be employed as structural elements in the cockpit. Next we have another interesting upgrade, quite small mask sheet. Don't be surprised by its size, because you will have to use liquid masks due to the Bubbletop canopy, because otherwise it will be tricky to mask it. Next we have this assembly manual. Assembly manual is printed in typical Eduard style, so we have short history note on the first page. Then there is a parts map, and note how many parts won't be used in this type of this aircraft. It's quite nice. I mean, it will go into your spare parts anyway. Assembly process starts with cockpit, of course. Then we continue with fuselage and wings, connect them together, assemble air intake, assemble propeller, and then in the end we have masks application guide. Marking guides are printed in color for all 5 marking options, as you can see, and those are quite colorful options, so it will be interesting what you will choose for your project. And of course on the last page we have stenciling position guide, which is quite typical for this Spitfire. I mean, even weekend edition kits of this model feature stencils, so here we have no surprise. But still it's nice addition. I mean, in 1/72 scale it looks quite impressive to have all writings on the aircraft. Now we can move on to decals. There are 2 decals sheets. Both are printed in Eduard. Here we have the small one. This one is dedicated to stencils, as you can see. And printing quality is quite nice, so I don't have any complaints on any possible issues. And then we have slightly bigger decal sheet. This one is dedicated to all symbols for 5 marking options, which you just saw in assembly manual. So as you can see, printing quality is great once again, and we even have decal for the dashboard and for air intakes for those who don't want to use P parts, but it will be quite surprising if you won't use any metal parts on your model after buying Profipack, so better use them. So that's all for this video review. As you can see, we have another nice small Profipack from Eduard. It should be available immediately on official eShop. As for the detailed photos, just go click the link in the video description below. There should be a link to the review article, so you'll find all photos of this kit. And of course, if you want to help us, if you would like to see more video reviews like this, press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I will see you in the next video review as usual. Bye!